Hey y'all, we are here under different circumstances, pretenses, if you will, because there's a developing conversation that I think is expanding, it's growing, it's getting legs, and I really just kind of want to address it. But I want to go ahead and set the tone and really be clear. I don't want to come across as if I'm just defending myself because I don't personally think that I actually need to do that. And I think the act or even feeling baited to defend myself as it pertains to the conversation around skin tone and various characters creates a very unsafe space for me to be able to fully be honest about my lived experience. So I want to be clear that I'm not attempting to defend myself because my lived experience is my lived experience. But I do think that a very detailed, nuanced, specific conversation still needs to be had. And maybe that can't be had in the format of going from week to week with each show and needs to happen in a format like this because this is something that I believe started with the analysis of the Olivia Baker character with my All American coverage and now has seemingly grown legs in the most recent coverage of Bel-Air, specifically my conversations around the Jackie character. Now, some of you might not know, but there has been very inflammatory comments put on my videos and I haven't deleted them. So ultimately it's created a space for a thread to form for even more inflammatory comments to be made. But the gist of those comments is basically Erica does not like light-skinned people. And to additionally tone set and be very clear and provide a disclaimer. This is going to probably feel like, oh, she called up her only light skinned friend, but this is not that. I definitely wanted to bring on a person who knows me very, very well, who has known me for quite a while. And I literally text her and was like, I know that this feels very white people who get called out for racism and then they want to say, I got a black friend. This is not that. And I really am just so grateful to have Mariama here to speak with me about this topic, but in my life period, because this is a woman who has helped me really flesh out my beliefs around this, flesh out my language around colorism and how things happen and how I internalize or not internalize various lived experiences, and she's able to do it from the same body that tends to perpetuate sometimes violence in this way, whether it's physical or emotional or mental or whatever. So I'm very, very grateful for her being a woman of just really keen awareness, for her being a woman who loves her blackness, for her being a woman who wants to live in this world in an evolved state and always be pushing forward good because she has been able to, in seeing herself and being honest about the world that we live in, really help me get to this, what I would call a very confident, not necessarily an arrogant, but a very confident place in being very sure of my blackness and being very sure of what my experience has been and being able to speak to it. Ultimately, I think with my type of critique, with my type of commentary, because I do add in personal elements, because I do explore things way past the what just happened on the screen, it can get a little bit convoluted for people or can get confusing because I am not your typical reviewer and because I do like to go a little bit deeper. And this is going to be additional, I guess, information into me and how I think. So maybe you can have better perspective if you are one of the people who might be silently agreeing with these people who feel like Erica does not like light-skinned people, um, or whatever the case might be. Like, this is what this conversation is actually going to be. It is titled Dark Skin versus Light Skin, and it's really just
Oh no, Erica,
I
please!
had to title it that, Mariama. I had to title it that.
Oh my
But it's going
god!
to explore all of that specifically as my commentary. And with that said, I'm going to bring my friend up because she's clearly right here. Shout out to
If you get
Mariama.
me correct,
I'm gonna just say Gree. I ain't gonna G. I'm not gonna say your last name.
I swear to God, if I get dragged on TikTok because of your ass, I swear. You know my biggest fear is going viral. Please,
I
yes.
know this, y'all. This is like, this woman really loves me because she does not. She works in marketing. She's a freaking marketing genius, brilliant on social, brilliant with strategy. But she is not the one who wants to be in the forefront. She always wants to be in the back. And she's like, Erica, I never want to go viral for some craziness. And here you go, pulling me up here as your official light skinned friend. to have this
God.
conversation. But again, like I said at the beginning of
Right.
this, we talk about this a lot. Like we talk about this when certain things pop up. Like you're one of the first people I call, and low key, she's often like, "Why are we like this?" And like, yes, I can understand why you're pissed.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
for
friend.
sure.
First and foremost, what are your thoughts on colorism? Because I know that the conversation is being had as well of like colorism doesn't exist. What is your take on it?
I mean, it definitely exists. Let's just start there. It is very prevalent. I don't think I know that it exists. And what I think people get lost in when it comes to colorism is how it shows up in minor ways. Like it is very much an underhanded way. It's the way that our family speaks to us or differentiates us. It's the way that our teachers deal with us. I feel like what happens is we end up having these larger conversations about blackness and whiteness, and then we don't have deep conversations about what that looks like within our community. We just like make everything about whether or not light skin or dark skin people are attractive. Um, and I feel like it's more than that, right? It's not actually about the looks, it's about the treatment and the differences in that treatment. I think we see this a lot in the makeup space, right? That's colorism where we have to scout, not we, but people have to scout brands to find their skin tones. And then like you're ostracized for calling out the fact that these major brands don't have colors that go deep enough, right? That don't actually encompass other people. So I think that colorism is just like this. It's not minor. It's a huge thing, but because it's happening underhand, we don't consider it like this big thing. We don't talk about it in a way in which it impacts people on like day to day levels. And I think that really, to me, like the comments that I saw, obviously we had a conversation about the comments that are being made, and I feel like that's the stuff that they are missing, right? That there is a much bigger conversation that we don't have amongst each other when it comes to tone, when it comes to colorism. And like I think there's a lot of shame. Like people don't want to admit that they uphold colorism. I don't think people want to admit that they are impacted by colorism because they don't want to attach themselves as victims sometimes, right? I think that like and I think that it's okay. I noticed that like when we talk about colorism, there's always like, I'm dark and I know I'm beautiful. And like, we know that you're beautiful, right? That's not the conversation here, right? This person is wrong for their behavior. Like, we should not be like making this only an issue about your looks because it's not just about whether or not you're beautiful. It's about how you are treated in spaces, right? And
Yes.
like, you deserve to be treated with the same accord as everyone else. It's
Yeah.
not whether or not you're. So I just feel like we don't talk about the nuance of colorism, is what I think I'm trying to say.
At all. And unfortunately, Erica is a nuanced bitch. Like
Fuck.
nuanced as and shout out to you. Like I'm just going to continue to give you your flowers because you are one of well, I have like a very few like core group of friends that I can talk about anything with. But that's also me. Like I won't necessarily consider you a friend if I can't necessarily talk to you about anything. But Mariama specifically, like I could call her with the most obtuse thing and like I was thinking that if I was a turtle or something and she's like, okay, so where did that come from? Like how are you feeling? Like
Literally.
she will go there with me with whatever little thought and like as our friendship has progressed over the last decade and a half, I've really found so much more confidence in just exploring all of my many thoughts, my many feelings. So I appreciate you so much for that. Um, okay, so that's where you're at with colorism. I appreciate that because it's mostly, to me, from my perspective, mostly people who might look a little bit more like you, who can
Mhm.
denounce of and freely like reject the idea of it. I'm even seeing it play out in my comments where it's like, Erica, you're mentioning light skin, but I don't know what that has to do with anything. While they're also light skin, and it's just like,
Mhm.
babes, the blind spots are being pointed out. If you choose to continue to miss them, that's on you. But speaking to that, I am existing on the internet. The internet does tend to be where nuance goes to die, but yet we dredge ahead and we're having conversations. I also have an intersection into film and television, so how media being produced, but then now critiquing media. How do you feel like media impacts our day to day life, whether it's live life imitating art or art imitating life or neither?
Say the question over from the beginning real quick.
How do you feel about media as it pertains to real life?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Oh. I mean, I think the whole point of media is to imitate our lives, right? To add voices to the table, to share story. It is storytelling, right? That is my favorite thing. I'm a big reader. I love story sharing. I think that people the one thing that I think is wonderful about media is it is an opportunity for people to see the world at a wider view, right? Because we tend to be here. We tend to know what we know. We tend to know what our family told us. We tend to know what happened at school. We tend to know what happens in our world, right? And like when you are in a space where you have access to media, you're like, oh, there is like so much more than just these things. So I think media's job is to tell stories. It is to reflect what can happen. It is to reflect our imaginations. It is to reflect what is possible. And sometimes I think part of this whole conversation is like it's uncomfortable for some people when the media is pointing out things that we don't want to see in real life that are actually happening to people, right? Like heavy conversations. I think colorism is heavy. Like it is a heavy topic when you think about it, right? Like it is awful. And I think, as your friend, I'm gonna go off a little bit and come back, but like as your friend, I tell you all the time I want you to shut down and I don't think these people deserve you. I'll say that. Yeah, I don't think y'all deserve her. Let me be clear. I think that even the fans don't say enough to me. Because why is my home dog getting on the internet and somebody calling her a monkey bitch, but you over here having a paragraph full of commentary about why she's talking about light skin things or colorism, but you don't defend her. So are you here to actually talk about colorism or are you here to perpetuate your narrative? Again, blinders. So I feel like what is lovely about that you're talking about this or other people talking about this is that it opens a conversation. It opens up the world view of like your lived experience may be here, but this is the world. Like
Yeah.
we're not only on your block, baby. World exists much bigger than your block. And like if you've never traveled, you don't go no damn where. I really want you to simmer and think, right?
Just pipe down, maybe. Pipe down a little
Just
bit.
like realize that you haven't lived, right? If you only been in Maryland, no idea what happens in New York. You don't know what's going on, like you don't understand it. And I feel like that is the thing with media, right? It's like it's an opportunity to see the world in a different light, but you have to be willing to be not only challenged, but to see the world for what it is.
Yeah.
At least that's what I do think media is important. I think it's never going anywhere. Media's been around forever. Like it's changed a lot, but it's been around. That's how information gets shared.
And to your point, I feel like being able to see the world and all of the diversity in it is when media is working well, when media is working at its best. We also find ourselves in a system that continues to perpetuate the same narratives. And that's where I come in. So while I'm critiquing media on a day to day basis, on a week to week basis for various shows, it's not surprising to me that conversations around pretty privilege come up, that conversations around texturism come up, that conversations around the fiery Latina trope comes up, that all of that comes up. And I'm going to continue to speak to it. I made a comment on my last Bel-Air live because what is getting people in a tizzy right now is my critique about the Jackie character on Bel-Air. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna stop talking about the character because I don't want to feel like I have to defend my perspective and my thought when I think I'm making very valid critique about this character and people are taking it in the ways that they're taking it. And over the weekend, I've been able to really just reassess and like, no, I'm not going to stop talking about her in the way that I want to talk about her because I think that I'm speaking truth to power to what could be an intentional thing by the writers and the way that this character is showing up. And for everybody who is feeling the way, for everybody who is getting offended, then maybe that's something that you need to take back to you, babe. Maybe the call is coming from inside the house and there's something in you that you're struggling with. There's something maybe in you that you aspire to be in, Jackie. And we were talking about this earlier and you just made this powerful point about how me critiquing a particular character could ruffle a lot of feathers if people are still aspiring to be that character, regardless of how terrible they come across, regardless of what their behavior is like, regardless of what their mindset is like. If that person has pedestalized this character and they aspire to be that, then you're going to automatically be wrong for demonizing Erica because they're on a journey to try to get there and you're already telling them not to go there. And I was just
Mhm.
like, I really want to, before we go too far into this, I want to put up the comments so that you guys can see some of the ones that are sparking most of this conversation. And there's one in particular that talks about me having an inferiority complex.
That's such a projection. It's
um,
so annoying.
and Just so that we're clear. So like some people started this live and was like, what happened? What happened? Nothing per se happened, but there's certain conversations that are just being had in the comments that I think are unfair to me, that I do think to a certain extent are an assassination of my character. But also it is what it is. So I'm gonna read a couple of these really quickly. Let's start with the longest one, which was a while ago. A couple. What'd you say?
I pinned something real quick before I forget it.
Yeah.
I just have one thing. When you assume that dark skinned women are jealous or insecure, inferior to light skinned people, it proves the point that you're the problem. Because who are you to tell someone that they are feeling inferior because you don't understand their what they're experiencing? To me, that says so much more about you as a person to assume that because I'm calling out something, I'm saying that I feel inferior to them is crazy work. Like my mind never goes there. When we have deep conversations about light skin stuff, my mind is never like, it's not even light skin stuff. It's colorism, it's racism, it's patriarchy, it's all of the things, and these things come up. My thing is never like, oh, I'm hearing Erica say all this stuff about colorism and light skin stuff, and she's inferior to me. She's jealous because she's not light skin. That is crazy work, and that is a reflection of y'all. Don't ever do that. Do not ever fix yourself to get online and be like, y'all inferiority complex is crazy. No, it's you. And that thinking is the problem. It literally points to the problem that you think that is immediately where they are. Get it together. Continue on with the comments. Sorry, because I'm gonna forget. My brain is not.
Get it together. No, it's all good. I'm gonna pull up first. I think her name is Christine. Yes, Christine posted this comment, this very long dissertation, and says, Erica, let me say this with all due respect. I feel like your assessment of Jackie is too personal, as if maybe you was in a similar situation at a time. I don't believe Jackie is pretty privileged. Um, can't help how she looks. Her personality is different from Lisa. She is more outgoing, and it may be captivating. Okay, let's start there. Let's break it down.
And I'm gonna say that I don't watch these shows.
Yes,
so
that's also another reason why I wanted you on here, y'all, because this is my friend who reads books. She don't be playing around with Erica in these damn shows. Erica goes to her house twice a year and like makes her watch shows. Like I got her on the team and she was pissed about it. But like she's not tapped in with the shows. Her love language is like give her a beautiful novel, beautiful romance, just happiness and fantasy. Period. And it's so wonderful because I am like so chronically online and into every damn show. So when I come to her, she has the perspective outside of like experiencing these shows in this way. And she also brings great points in reference to like how things show up in books as well. But anyway, yes, that's a great point. I'm so glad that you pointed that out because I meant to say that. You don't be watching these shows. You be going off of like, what's the thing? Okay, so like, let's start there. My assessment of Jackie is too personal. That is alluding to something else, which she mentions on later on. But she then goes to say, I don't believe Jackie is pretty privileged. What exactly does that mean? As a person who, and if you guys go to the comment section, you can see in her profile picture, she's a light-skinned woman. And honestly, no shade. I promise you there's no shade. But she prototypically looks like the IG baddie profile. The light-skinned IG baddie profile is what I get from her profile picture. And you are the one to tell me that Jackie is not pretty privileged. I don't know, babes. I'm not even going to be able to go ahead and take that one. I think just because you as a person might not necessarily agree with the assessment doesn't mean that the assessment is not actually there. And I have given very specific critiques to prove what I felt was my point of the pretty privilege, in that Jackie as a character, when presented to us, has always led with her sex appeal, has always been in her costuming, popping up boobs, giving skin, hair, soft 3B curls. Her uncle actually used her sexuality to tempt other little basketball players like Will to want to be a part of this whole vibe that he's producing. We get the one chance where they can actually show Jackie in reference to like talent and something outside of her sex appeal. They have her perform at an art gallery opening with tap dances, and she's a dancer. And you have 4 black women tap dancing their life away for most of the performance for her to come out, do a little Dougie 2-step, be cute and pose, and the crowd goes wild. The crowd goes wild. She has not a tap. not a tap dancing shoe on, not a tap shoe on, not a move really bust. She only looked cute and posed, and Will struck. Will just, every time Will looks at her, that is intentional. That is done on purpose. That is done to communicate her pretty privilege. You
It's
might
so
not.
funny that you say that because I wrote that. I said, I feel like I was like, people should take a step back because this is a show. People should take a step back and think about character calls. Like people are chosen for a very specific reason in shows. If you wanted to, and how, and in colorism, we talk about this, it is very clear how people are chosen for roles. And we see this all the time. We see this when characters are chosen for like people who are like in history in real life are dark skinned and their light skinned people are then painted to be more brown to match the instead of casting a dark skinned person who is talented and can actually do the role. That's a clear example of how colorism exists in our world. We don't talk about it, we don't think about it, but it's real. Any Tyler Perry movie that you watching and the mistress and the girl that's too cute, what does she look like? She look biracial or
Ambiguous.
ambiguous, racially ambiguous, curly hair, lighter eyes, soft features. They know what they're doing. And so to pretend like people are not chosen for these roles based off how they look is wild. It's negating the actual intention. It is the intention of people who choose these like the real life people to play these characters. Like so I mean again I don't watch the show but just the stuff that you mentioned I'm like I can already picture the person because of how people are chosen to represent pretty people in film and media in general. Because come on, y'all. Like,
And I appreciate that you actually said I can already picture the person, because if I was to show you a picture of Jackie right now, you would be like, oh yeah, easy. That, which affirms for me of like, I'm not putting extra on this. Yes, I can have a
right.
dramatic delivery for entertainment purposes, but the way that people want me to be the villain so bad, the way people want me to hate light skinned women so bad when I'm really just making an assessment with a little bit of
Mhm.
flair is beyond me. But we're gonna go back to little Miss Christine and her essay. She continues on. Um, she can't help how she look. Her personality is different from Lisa. So, like, let me clear that up real quick.
Mhm.
Pretty privilege is not a choice. No more than dark skin and what comes from that is a choice. So,
Yeah.
when people assume that I say this character has pretty privilege, you think I'm saying that she chose to be beautiful and be better than. That is
Mhm.
not what I'm saying. The world decided that. She fits
Mhm.
into a visual aesthetic that works for the world, and they
Yep.
are giving her benefits because of it. That quite
Yep.
literally is the simplest way that I could define pretty privilege. Would you agree with that definition?
Yeah. And I get it because I live it. No, no, not no tea, no shade. Not trying to be like, oh, I get it. But shorty is just I have gotten, you get in a club, just certain things, being allowed to go a certain place, being offered, afforded the opportunity in certain ways. And I work for a lot of the things that I have. So this is not to negate my hard work for everything that I've got. But people experience this in a real way and trying to pretend like it doesn't happen is crazy. It's crazy.
Crazy
Like
work.
it's silly. It actually is just silly. So yes, and obviously I didn't choose to look like this. I just got the best of my parents' features, and thank God for that because they funny looking. The point is, the point is, I came out all right, and because of that, I have definitely experienced some privileges of that.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Miss
How do
Sierra
okay.
Speaks says sometimes they will use it to their advantage, which brings me to my criticism.
100%.
That's what brings me to my critique of the Jackie character. My critique is that Jackie uses it and she's very aware of it. And I guess that's y'all's issue with me taking issue with that. But that's just a personal thing. Erica's always like that. She's going to be like that. She has a problem when white women weaponize their tears against black people. She has a problem when lighter skinned black people weaponize their lighter skin against darker black people.
And I feel like that is the part that we're missing. I think that what you're not asking anybody to be is ashamed of their beauty or ashamed of their God given whatever the fuck. And to instead read the room, right? I don't think, and I could be wrong, anybody in the world can check me if it need be. I don't think I've ever used what I consider my privileges to harm other people or to like weaponize it essentially. Just like I don't, you know what I mean? Like the point of this is not to deter someone else's good thing. It's not I deserve these things because I'm beautiful. I don't think that. I don't believe that. I don't think I deserve anything because of how I look. Has it happened? Have I gotten, let's just say, like in a club because of the people that I'm with? Not even just me, like the crew looks a certain way. We have dressed a certain way. That is literally what pretty privilege is. Like the girls who are going to anywhere looking X won't get this. That's language that we use in real life. If you want to catch a man, you need to look like this to get that man, right? You can't just be who you are and go outside. People don't say that to you. People don't say that to any of us, right? So like I think there is a huge difference in how you choose to utilize your beauty and where in which you choose to like weaponize it. Like if you're using it to get ahead, you're fucked up.
And
Like
not even
have some integrity with your shit.
and I would say my biggest critique is not necessarily using it to get ahead in general, but using it to get ahead against others. If your use of your pretty privilege is directly related to the downfall, the destruction, or the disrespect of somebody else, then that's when
Right.
we have a problem. Specifically other
Correct.
women. For me.
Right.
But let me try to get through this damn dissertation real quick because there's a
All right.
couple of
Let's
other ones
start.
that are even worse. But they spurred off of this comment. So if you guys want to look, it's on, I believe it's my live or it could be my episode 7 breakdown. I will probably link it. I didn't link it in the video, but I'm sorry. But it's still up. I have not deleted or blocked this person as of yet. But the way that things are going, who knows? But for you to attack this girl like you've been doing is not necessarily a good look. If you want to be honest, Jackie has done a lot to help Will more than Lisa, honestly. And this is honestly the most irritating part for me of the whole comment. To tell me that I am not a good look, what I'm saying is not a good look because of
Mm-hmm.
how you internalize what I said. Who the hell are you to
Mm-hmm.
tell me if I look good or I don't look good? Like, I feel
Mm-hmm.
that people who are trying to fight or create this narrative of like Erica hates light skinned people are just really proving my point because you're getting in the comments and you're attacking how I look. You're whether it's physically or like figuratively,
Yeah.
and that is your like counterpoint. And it's like, but you look also like the character that we're talking about. So, babe, at what point am I supposed to believe that you're right? What is not a good look about a dark skinned black woman who critiques television and film and relates all of the plot points that are related to realistic shows, realistic dramas back to real life, speaking about this experience and how a dark skinned or a black person would experience this? What about that is not a good look? What about being honest and open is not a good look? What about unpacking colorism is not a good look? Because I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
perfectly great look. And Mariama, who is my real friend in real life, would also concede that, yeah, this is a damn good look. I appreciate that
Mm-hmm.
she's very proud of like how I'm able to speak to my feelings, to my lived experience. So yeah, it's a damn good look. What are your thoughts
I
around the
also think
it's
it's
not a good
funny.
look?
I just think it's funny because even in this context, right? Why are there so many light skinned people for you to characters that are being chosen to play these roles? This could be an all brown skin, dark skin cat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we also, again, back to like casting. Like, I'm not suggesting that no one should be hired for, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not suggesting that light skinned people should not be on shows. What I am saying though is if it's reality is that these characters are being casted as light skinned people, right? And that plays a huge part
Or
in the creation
multiracial people, ambiguously
or
black people. Because that's another
all of
semantic people are giving. Because Bel-Air technically is a show that gets shot where everybody looks darker than they actually are in real life. Which I appreciate, but okay, cool. Like, then it's a, but Erica, they're kind of the same skin tone. This girl is a Latina, maybe mixed with black. She got something else going on. And y'all know damn well Lisa's ethnically black.
right.
She might be lighter black, but Lisa is ethnically black.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
No, I just think it's interesting because I think the casting again plays such a huge part. There's so many roles and so many people that look like X. Like, where is the space for there to not necessarily be that? Like,
But and for to this point, I think that her. casting was a specific choice, which argues my point of like, y'all can't argue with me about what they're actually trying to communicate. They're trying to communicate this particular thing around pretty privilege and ambiguous black women, which is why they're having her play into it. Which is why when you see the costuming for a Jackie character, her boobs are hiked all the way high to high heavens, and her skirts are extra short. They just hike. They hike, friend.
Okay, sitting here right now. Pull them jokes back up. Sorry, we in mixed company.
But then you look at Elisa, and Elisa, she gets like the kind of cool teenager tee and the cargo pants, but Jackie gets to run around and does the car show in the little short ass skirt and the cutout with the little V-neck. That's a choice, baby. Those are choices. And Erica is not wrong for making sure that y'all realize that's a choice. I want to get off of this, so I'm gonna try to hurry up and finish reading it. Lisa and Will lean on each other emotionally the same way that he leaned on Jackie. When Lisa wasn't messing with Will, he was all up in Jackie's ass. Will straddled the fence with both of them, and you just expected Jackie to go away. Will keeps bringing her into the fold, and if you want to speak on pretty privilege, Lisa uses her family privilege to stay in Will's face and continue to make her presence known as well. To those points specifically, no, I didn't want Jackie to just go.
What does she mean?
Huh?
I don't know what she in this context. What does she mean by family privilege?
Because Jackie is the girl who comes from the hood, which is why most people are rooting for her. She comes from the hood in LA, so like she's right for Will because Will comes from the hood in West Philly. He happens to be in a relationship with a girl who's from from Bel-Air. So people feel like because Lisa's from Bel-Air, she can't be for Will because she's not from the hood.
Okay.
Yes. The whole family privilege thing, girl, you want to have it, cool. But y'all like to compare apples to oranges. So Lisa can't, Jackie can't possibly have pretty privilege because Lisa was born into Bel-Air. So they have nothing to do with one another. Both can be true. She can have a certain proximity to wealth that gives her privilege.
Yes.
And Jackie could have a pretty privilege that she uses to navigate and survive the hood. Those two things can be true. Will's reaction to those, I have only critiqued in that I feel like they purposefully have Will perform lustful gaze at Jackie, and we don't see him do that with any of the other black women. He's into them, he's in a relationship with them, but the way that he performs the attraction is very different. He's always awestruck at Jackie. But Lisa is the black girl he's now back in a relationship with, but had to work for it and had to kind of beg him and then had to have him see this, and this. But when Jackie comes around, it's like, all stop. Meanwhile, Jackie is also, to me, the person who, because she comes from the hood, she's the person who tries to remind Will he's hood, which is a very valid criticism that I think people skip over that I give. And there was a comment made, and I don't have it on here, but it was a comment made. Oh Lord, I'm not even on screen while I'm talking. A comment made about Jackie isn't as dangerous as you want to say she is. And I think because people don't hear the nuance or not actually listening, you don't register what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is people who come from where you come from, who are hell bent on you not forgetting where you came from, are very dangerous. And the people who want to and the people who want to ignore that fact, cool. But that is a thing. Later on in the thread, this young woman goes to speak to my personal experience. If anything, that would be my personal experience. And going through the thread, I'm seeing people say, well, some light-skinned girl must have did Erica wrong. If anything, I can identify with coming from one place and having people believe you to be one thing, and then having to perform that thing based off of where you're from. I grew up in the hood, but I had the privilege of having a Caribbean immigrant ass daddy who worked very hard and put my ass in private school. So I'm living in the hood, but then walking every day to private school. And then from private school, going to Poly here in Baltimore, which is a magnet school. And then from there, I'm able to go to college X, Y, and Z. But for most of my life, all of the formative years, I've spent my life with one foot in one world and one foot in another. one foot in the hood and another foot in academic excellence, another foot in athletic excellence, another foot in like, oh, you got that Baltimore accent, so you must be ghetto. So like, let's perform the acceptable blackness here. But then when you come back home from college or you come back home from this, why you
Got all that
talk
shit
like
off.
that? Why you white? Why you this? Why you that? So if anything about the Jackie character triggers me, it is her constant reminder to Will of not to forget the hood and how he is wrong for experiencing new things and trying to broaden his horizon outside of what he knows the hood to be. But that's the part that y'all don't want to bring up. Y'all only want to bring up the part about me saying that she is racially ambiguous. That is the part that makes her dangerous, not her skin tone. I don't even think that her pretty privilege makes her dangerous. Her being the one person in this particular place, aside from Jazz, that is representative of the hood over on the West Coast and being his only call to it and choosing to manipulate her proximity to what he knows to pull him back, that shit is dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that, friend.
I mean, it felt more like a rant.
It did.
I don't know if I have anything to add. I don't know if I have anything to add at this time because I don't watch the show. So I feel like
Yeah,
my opinion on it would be a little off base.
no
How much
worries.
you finished? Yeah.
If y'all want to read the rest of Old Girl's comment, you can. It was a bunch of just trying to prove that Jackie is better than Lisa, and it's like that is a conversation that y'all want to have, cool. But you trying to invalidate my feelings and my thoughts and my assessment about Jackie and trying to make it seem like I am a reverse colorist. That's where I draw the goddamn line.
There is no such thing as that. What the fuck is that? Don't mislead the
Going
crowd.
to let's go to the comment that really like, okay, y'all tried it. And the wildest part about this comment is that it's coming from a person who I blocked already.
She found herself
You have
back
the
in here.
exact same profile picture of a child I blocked last year. And I remember your username and it wasn't this name. So it's giving I'm definitely not the problem if y'all are making new accounts to post these things. But okay. Agreed. And this is agreeing with Christine's thesis, y'all. Agreed. Seems like there's animosity towards light-skinned women. Many dark-skinned women feel like this. An inferiority complex towards light-skinned women and subsequent resentment seems very present. Yikes. With 3 people who agree. And this comment is still up. Y'all could go and see it. Y'all could go see the whole thread where people are just going back and forth about how Erica hates light-skinned people. But this stuck out to me. Friend, your thoughts on my inferiority complex that's jumping off the
Well, you
screen
have to have
and my
one for me to have
resentment?
an opinion on it that doesn't exist. The complex doesn't exist, so I don't have an opinion on this imaginary complex that you have, first of all. So let's just acknowledge that. I've already said that. I just think it's such a ridiculous thing to say. I think it is a ridiculous thing to put on an entire group of people because you're projecting, because you feel inferior, because you have things going on, because you can't see the world for what it is. To me, that's when I heard the comment, when you read it to me, I was like, that is such an odd thing to say and to stand by. First of all, you don't know all dark skinned people. But you cannot say dark skinned people have this inferior complex to anybody. That isn't like that math does not math for me. I also just think that I don't think the comment feels more like an attack and instead of a nuanced positioning, right? Like there's no fact-based evidence to prove that. There's no specific examples to make that assumption about people. None of that exists in the comment. It's just like I'm just going to say this thing because I know I can say it because I'm behind a keyboard and not online. That's another thing. I actually don't like y'all. And I'm here now. I actually cannot stand y'all. Stop getting on my friend's thing and saying shit you would never say in her face. Let's be very clear. First of all, I got my fighting braids in, okay? I'm done with it. And I think that the people who are sitting here being a stan and love all the commentary who don't defend Erica, but then get on here and be like, Erica, do people really, yes, they really talk to her about that. And you should say something because that's what people who support people do. They don't leave their friends to defend themselves all the time. Sometimes you have to be the person like, y'all are doing a lot. And I need y'all to start doing that for my friend when I'm not in the room. This is actually getting crazy. Y'all are real Twitter fingery and y'all don't say nothing in real life. Because if you catch us at the store, I wish you would. It will not be great for you. So like say that to my face. Like that's like all it is. First of all, it's a show. Let's like this be a show. These are not real people. Stories may be similar, but these are not real people. Y'all are getting really emotional about things that are fiction, right? Like, let's calm down. Like, there is no need to get on any platform and attack somebody for an opinion or a critique that they have about a show. Let's start there. So why are we assassinating Erica's character at a person, like as a human being that lives on Earth in real life? Why are we assassinating her for having a critique about a show? Yeah, let's come back to reality because that's what the fuck this shit is, right? It's a critique about characters on a show. I'm a real person. I exist in the real world. I actually have a real life, right? I exist outside of the internet, and that real life includes Erica. That is one of my best friends on this earth. She's very clearly a different color, right? Like, that's not a secret. And she loves me down, and I love her down. We're not on the internet. We're friends in real fucking life, including all of my other friends that I defend. Y'all got to get y'all shit together, right? Y'all do a lot of talk online. Do you have this conversation at home? Do you tell your dark-skinned grandmother that she has an inferior complex to your light-skinned aunt, to her light-skinned daughter? Do you say that to anybody? No, because it doesn't exist. It's bullshit. So stop talking on this internet that you don't talk in real life. Be about it in real life. Because y'all not doing enough for me. Defend my friend. Okay, I'm done. Now I'm done. I'm done. Because I'm getting upset. I'm getting hot. I'm sweating. I was already oily when I got on here. I'm just sweating now. I'm pissed off. That'll be stressing me the fuck out. Like,
I am so
you
appreciative
don't know
though.
to tell your light skinned cousin, oh, you think you better than us because you. What the fuck are y'all talking about? And if you are saying that shit, y'all need to have a real call each other in. Y'all need to have a real conversation about why that exists in your family. Black people come in a myriad of colors. We are so like my parents are black. There is no confusion. My lineage is black. I obviously there's probably some white person somewhere up in the line. My family is black. I've never been ashamed to be black. I've been taught to be proud to be a black woman. Despite then, I was raised a little differently. My mother was very Afrocentric before that shit was cool. I was not allowed to call my hair nappy. I was not allowed to say African booty scratcher. I was not allowed to make fun of dark skinned people. I was not allowed to say the word nigger. Like, we didn't do that in my family, and I'm still light skinned, right? So like let's live like we live in real life. If you are having problems in your own family where you think your darker skinned cousins and family members are inferior to you because you're light skinned, you need to explore yourself. Because something is wrong with you, baby. Get it together. We here in real life. Okay, I'm done for real this time because
No,
I'm still sweating.
no, this is why I love you so much.
I swear to God.
No, I really appreciate that because it's hard. Like being a person with a certain level of self awareness, with a certain level of language for various things, and then existing in the world as a black person, you are constantly defending yourself. So it is wonderful to me or for me to have a friend like you who will allow me to lay the burden down. Like, don't even worry about it. I'ma say it because you
Yeah.
realize that I have to exist in this kind of like fight mode constantly just because of how I'm actualized in this world. Um, but to the inferiority complex part, maybe there could be people who be struggling with that who have allowed themselves to continuously be brainwashed by our society. But I am not one of
You know,
those. And I think that that's one of the things that rub people the wrong way. And I'm trying to figure out how to articulate that on the channel, but y'all need to wake the hell up. If you're going to actually engage with me, you're going to have to wake the hell up because Erica is awake. Erica is not buying whatever society sells. Erica is no longer even at a place to be convinced that she's not beautiful, that she is not loved, that she is not intelligent, that she is not amazing. Like, those things are just, you cannot tell me those things anymore. And there's a lot of y'all who can still be told those lies and you're going to believe it. And I personally feel like some of you have issue with me because I don't believe the bullshit and the lies. So no, baby, it's not an inferiority complex. It's actual strong confidence, and that's rubbing up against what you believe dark skinned people should have or how dark skinned people should exist. So many people are really struggling with Erica having the audacity to say the things that dark skinned people shouldn't say, or specifically black women shouldn't say. But this is my shit, so I'm going to say it. That girl caught me with the whole like the animosity and resentment. Like I have very real frustration with characters or real life people who do very specific things. When the character does that, I will speak on it, but I'm not running around here with just animosity and resentment for lighter skin. I went to the hospital today. My grandfather had a stroke, unfortunately. Went to the hospital today. Today. My grandmother saw this and said, "Oh, they got you looking dark. Like they got you looking dark as why you look so black?" I said, and is yeah, I want them to know I'm black AF always. That is something that is natural for me now. Like I don't hear, "Oh, you're getting dark," and I take it as offense. I don't hear, "Oh, you look black as hell," and take it as offense. I hear, "Oh, you getting light," and I'm like, I ain't trying to do that. Let me take my ass outside. That's the Erica that you're dealing with. Let's be very clear. And yes, that takes work in the society that we're in, but don't ever get it twisted, babes. And I want to also be very clear about me moving in confidence in dark skin, speaking in confidence in dark skin, and trying to speak up for people who look like me is one thing. But to Mariama's point very early on, that is not an innate attack on you and your light skin, you and your white skin. Me having pride in blackness, me bigging up darker skinned women who don't get celebrated, who don't get opportunities, me creating in that space and with that realm, I get to do as a woman who identifies as that the same way that you do. And I need people to stop requiring or needing people to soothe their damn ego and go along with the status quo and the bullshit of society, because it's not happening here. If you are of a lighter hue, and if you listen to me and all you hear is I don't like light-skinned people, then I am not the creator for you, because your ears are not even turned on. You need too much pacification. You're not ready to confront very toxic ass ideals that you probably identify heavily with, which is why you have a problem with me speaking against them. And there's plenty of other toxic ass people for you to be in community with, but I'm not one of them. Okay. I didn't play this for you, Mariama, but
don't piss me off.
I'm going to send it to you because you're not going to be able to hear it on Discord, but I'm going to play it for them. And this is just honestly going to give people more perspective into how I think, because this is a clip of a screen recording that I saw on TikTok of a young lady. And let me send it to you so that you can watch it before I play it for them. I am constantly navigating life, whether it is digital life or real life, right? I am constantly navigating with the lens that I've crafted for myself. So there's this young lady who I'm about to play for you guys who made a TikTok, and she's talking about struggling right now with a gel nail allergy to acrylates that really bothered her, because she started to build into her identity her being able to customize her nails, and she felt very beautiful in it. But while she was telling a story about her struggle with the medical conditions tied to this gel allergy that she has now, she talked about how she struggles to exist in her body. And no, she's not a dark skinned black woman. She is a black woman with phenotypical black woman features, fro and all. And while listening to this story about gel nails, I heard that particular part. And this is who I do this for. This is who I actually have these conversations for. So take a second and like listen to this.
It fucks me up not being able to paint my nails at all, let alone have any sort of nail extension. Like, I don't want to be over dramatic, but like, I really struggle with being in my body. And like, anytime I look at my body, I'm reminded of systemic racism. I look at my skin that's brown, and like sometimes the awareness of what it means to be black and looking at my skin triggers that, and it just sends this cascade of emotions. And I have very similar things when I look at my nails being naked, and I'm reminded of like that piece of my spirit that was taken from me by this gel nail allergy, the acrylate poisoning. Like, I have medical trauma that is constant.
And again, y'all, that was just a clip from her video, but I clipped that particular part because maybe for you, There is no understanding or awareness of struggling to be in your body, to feel beautiful in your body, to feel worthy in your body. But there's
Yeah.
a certain level, once you arrive at a certain level of awareness of how Black people, Black women are seen in this society, there comes a weight, there comes a burden of that. And I felt like she spoke so beautifully and vulnerably to that. And it resonated because me pointing out a character like a Jackie, weaponizing her pretty because she doesn't experience society telling her she's ugly. She doesn't experience society looking at her fro and wondering if she's dangerous because that fro is a little bit too revolutionary or a little bit too political for them. Jackie got 3B curls, so she good. Jackie looked ambiguous, so she good. But other than that, like aside from me being a dark skinned woman, this Black woman understands and feels on a day-to-day basis the burden sometimes that it can be made to feel like existing in the United States as a Black woman, because we are told that we're ugly, we're told that we're unworthy, we're told all of these damn lies. So for anybody who was coming on my channel and got beef with me, issue with me, of calling to the carpet when I'm seeing certain things persist in narratives that actually make it so that this kind of stuff can happen in real life for people, then that's going to have to be your problem and your cross to bear, and take it up with Jesus, baby. Because me seeing that very real experience, those very real tears, and understanding that, not necessarily feeling that in reference to, I'm going to be me, I'm going to love me. But I understand where she's coming from. I understand what's happening for her internally, and the systems that we have in place, the standards, the communication, all of it makes it so that shit is possible. Makes it so that it will always be a burden to her. And I really had to, like, in watching it, I had to be like, yeah, you're not going to stop talking about it the way that you want to talk about it, because that's what people want you to do. They want you to shut up and, like, just take it. No, we're done taking it. At least we're done taking it in Erica Vane universe. If your ass is uncomfortable with having the uncomfortable conversations, take your ass elsewhere.
That's really what it is. We talked about that already. Is people not being comfortable being uncomfortable? Because we talked about this, right? So, like, sometimes we have these conversations around colorism and light skin, and not in a light skin versus dark skin, just like an experience or thing that's happening, something to be aware of, and it stings. As a light skin person, I don't want to be associated with foolishness. As a Black person, I don't want to be associated with Black foolishness, and it stings when you're like, damn, like that is, I can't control that, and it hurts me that it hurts you. But I'm okay being uncomfortable. I'm okay being like, you've never necessarily had to call me out on light skin stuff, but like there are things you're talking about. I'm like, dang, like I have seen that, or I have, even if it wasn't me, like I have experienced that, or I've noticed that, or like when you're grown. I remember growing up and like things like, she's pretty for a dark skinned girl, and like hearing that, but never saying anything about how I thought that was messed up, right? Like, and fixing that, being like, well, when I hear things like that, those microaggressions, to say something. No, she's just beautiful, actually. Like my friend is actually just pretty, not for any other thing outside of this is what she looks like, right? And I think people get so uncomfortable feeling like they are like the thing that you're calling out. And because they can't take off the cloak of like, well, this is a thing that is happening who by people who look like me, doesn't make it me. And so now you've taken on this whole identity and like, oh my God, all light skinned people. She never said all light skinned people. And even if she did, right? Even if there are some things where we like, regardless of what we want to not be associated with, is just true, right? If it's like, we recognize globally that colorism is a thing. Like, let's also talk about that. Like, it's a global issue. There are people in countries who are still bleaching their skin, right? And Black people are not the only dark skinned people that exist. There are dark Indians. There are, you know what I mean? Like, there are dark Asian people. Like, and they and in those countries they are still doing stuff like that. So there are things that we are all guilty of, like being a part of, whether or not we want to, and being uncomfortable hearing it is the first step. Like, yeah, that made me uncomfortable, and being like, why am I uncomfortable, right? Like, damn, like, okay, why are you yelling at me? And then you're like, you know what, my friend has also experienced this harmful and hurtful thing, and my place is not to make it about me and my feelings in this moment. It is to give my friend the room and the safe space to be like, a light-skinned person called me a fucking monkey on live today, and that really fucking hurt. And like, these are the things that came up for me. And not be like, well, why she gotta be light? Because she was, bitch. Because she was. That was part of the facts. Like, I don't. sometimes the facts are just the facts and they don't have to be so personal. I feel like, well, at least, again, outside looking in, I don't watch the show, but like the comments that I hear, and not just about this show, the comments that you get on your platform and your channel at all piss me off. I'm so serious that I don't think these people deserve you and your brilliance. And I wish you would come over here to the silent dark side of the factory. I don't actually wish that for you because your voice is necessary. But like there's pieces of me because I can't save you in every space. I can't get on here and find somebody's IP code and the house up the way that I would if the world worked the way I wanted it to. Okay? Some of these people will be ain't no damn block, you just dead. So like, cause like you don't need people like you in the world. You're making it harder to exist. You're making it harder to coexist with one another. I think this
Yeah.
Twitter figure stuff, the not acknowledging and taking things so personal when you are calling out things that are actually just happening in the world, all the way down into our own personalized lives. And then instead of just looking within as to figure out why that comment made you uncomfortable or where you can be better to the people on this earth, you decide to get on here with your little fingers and write an 18 paragraph post that was not grammatically correct, that was not pre-checked, that was not edited, that nobody else pre-read when they should have. You got on here and spewed your ignorance and proved the point. Because you can't just take a step back and be like, damn, that's a way that I didn't see the world because it's not my lived experience. I will never live the experience of a dark skinned person. There's I cannot change that fact, but I can be a listening ear. I can not take shit personal and hear when my dark skinned friends are telling me that these things are happening and the perpetuators are light skinned people. I can hear her and say, I don't want to be that person in the world. I actually don't want to be that type of light skinned person. How do I be different? What should I do in this moment? Right? What am I supposed to say? How do I look? How does it look for me to show up for you? Do you need me to say something instead because you spend all day fighting the bows of people and this is the time that I'm in the space to defend you? Or do you need me to shut up and just be behind you like, woo, look at me? Try it. It's like, what do you need from me? We don't do that enough for our friends. We particularly don't do that enough for our friends who experience really harsh, I think, life, right? In general, like whatever that looks like. Y'all too, y'all are not comfortable being uncomfortable. Y'all are more comfortable being ugly people spiritually. And that is your fucking problem. I'm done.
Come on, Pastor. I'm a.
Not Pastor Alma. Like, get y'all spirits together, man.
You are not. You are not
Get y'all
comfortable
spirits
being
together.
uncomfortable, but you're comfortable being ugly people.
Like,
And I hate that for you. The
like this is
idea that dark skinned people have to be quiet about our experiences so that we don't make light skinned people uncomfortable is the quite
crazy.
literally the same thing as white people not wanting black people to speak on racism. And you need to audit that, babes.
Completely. Because don't turn into your oppressor now. It won't work for you. They will not welcome you there. No matter how much you want to exist in white supremacy, they don't want you here. You will always be just a tool for white supremacy language. You will never be a part of their team. They are not like us. You are not like them. Like, and they cannot coexist, my nigga. You cannot be black and don't have an analysis around the black experience. This is a black experience. If you want to be black, if you want to be pro-black, if you want to be educated, if you want to be a better human being, it requires a bigger scope than just yours. I'm a light-skinned person. I will never be much darker than this, no matter how much I'll be trying to chase skin cancer in the summer. Okay? No, my friend Stomp in the background. I will never be much browner than this, right? Like I got a little razzle dazzle. I
This is
won't
your
live
summer
that.
color.
It is. Shut up. Don't tell my business. But like I'm also able to have a full wide range of scope that blackness is this all the way to this, and there's a wide range of experiences that our people will have, and we have to be open and willing to be uncomfortable when we don't compute. Like I don't. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't see that as a child. Why? Because I was the light skinned girl who everybody was coming to. Like, so no, I didn't experience a person treating like that. And I mean, yes, and that's another thing. I just last time to say, I feel like what also light skinned people do is talk about how light skinned people are teased. Join the club. Like I never understand that. Like, yes, there are the light skin jokes. There are assumptions about light skin people that I don't feel like I partake in. Like, yeah, for sure. That has never once made me be like, oh my God, Erica, you can't say that because in third grade, homeboy called me a little yellowhead. What the fuck does that have to do with the globe? Like, somebody called you a lemon head. You do got a little lemon shaped head, baby. Like, lean in, lean in. Okay. Like, I never understood that too. Like, that is not the defense to me to be like, oh, so we got made fun of too. It's real tough to be. No, it's not tough to be. It's not. It's not, because the world tells us that lighter skin, regardless of it being black or not, lighter skin is better. It is what we should be aiming to be. You have people in Asian countries who refuse the sun. They literally walk around with umbrellas so they never want to be any shade brighter than yellow. I don't mean that racist. I just mean like legit, like they don't want to be. So like it's a global problem. So like pretending like colorism doesn't exist is wild work because it clearly shows itself globally. It's not even just a black issue. We're the only ignore that it exists, but it does. Like, come on, y'all, calm down. Just like stop it. Stop
please. Stop it, please.
It fucks me up not being able to paint my nails at all, let alone have any sort of nail extension. Like, I don't want to be over dramatic, but like, I really struggle.
Okay, that should be. There we go. There is a full thread going down until I guess go through and eradicate it. That is like the narrative that Erica hates light-skinned people and she's always been bigoted towards us and it's always been there. It's diabolical. Real M, whatever these numbers and letters mean, with no profile picture, says, Erica, I watch all of your reviews on all shows and think that you are one of the most talented commentators on YouTube. You are intelligent, funny, and have a deep perspective and point of view. But I must finally tell you that all of these light-skinned, biracial, pretty privileged comments really need to stop. There are many gorgeous dark-skinned women, just like there are gorgeous light-skinned women. Neither is better than the other. It seems like you always hate or show negativity towards light-skinned characters. I feel you are much better than this, and maybe you have been treated a certain way in your life, but it is disrespectful to your viewers that may be a variety of shades of brown to always act as if light-skinned or biracial is a bad thing. I'm not coming for you, but have been wanting to tell you this for a long time. Please think about what I'm saying and accept this with the good intentions that it is sent with. Okay, so this comment I highlighted because even the well-intended, well-meaning folks can be very harmful as well. This is another call for me to not make comments about color when it clearly plays out or has some type of significance to what's happening. And again, just to reiterate the points that have been stated already, my issue is not the color of the people. My pointing out the color of the people is typically the button on the end to give you the whole package in which this thing is delivered in for whatever the character is doing. I always point out my issue in the character's dialogue, my issue in the character's actions, my issue in how the character presents, and not visually presents, but like what foil they are producing within the plot. Too many people cannot actually hear that, and you hear light skin or you hear pretty or you hear biracial, you immediately say, I'm biracial, I'm pretty, I'm light skinned, so she must hate me too, and completely miss that I hate that Jackie is completely trying to co-opt Will and keep him in the hood. You don't hear that I don't like that Olivia Baker utilizes her proximity to whiteness to get away with certain things that she wouldn't be able to do if she was a monoracially black person. Those two are not the same, and it doesn't matter how much you try to conflate them, they are not the same. Your skin color is your skin color, your behavior is your behavior. And I would argue that I would love for you to go back to the video and give me the timestamps of when I have ever said that somebody's skin was the problem. You can't do it because it doesn't happen. Because I have never been trite in any of my delivery or assessments. All of my assessments are nuanced in that way. Every single character that I come for with receipts and with perspective based on that. And to the point of, oh, it seems like the light-skinned characters you always come for, I hate to be the one of like, okay, let's call them out. But like one of the first things that Mariama said was like, but your favorite person in the whole world is Rihanna. And I was like, I know. I know. The Family Business has a whole slew of light ass characters. Don't have no issue with any of them in their likeness. Never have communicated any of them in their likeness. Specifically, the way that now all of a sudden Erica doesn't like light skin, it doesn't like light skinned people. Meanwhile, Michael Ealy has paraded his ass in and out of various shows that I've covered, whether he was the villain or not. I was still like, you know what, y'all just don't understand him. He's just misunderstood. That to me debunks the whole you just hate light-skinned characters. I don't like trash people. I don't like manipulative, trifling people. I don't like disloyal people. I don't like dishonest people. And that includes people who manifest within fictional worlds as characters. It just is what it is. Fatima Wilson didn't start to feel any kind of wrath from me until she continued to allow Zachary Taylor to run her life into the ground. I'm not on her head because she light skinned. I'm on her head because she's letting this man ruin her damn life. Hate that for her. Hate that in real life. Mariama knows people that I actually am no longer friends with in real life because they are that. So Erica's not even like new to this. She's true to this. I live the shit that I say. And maybe that's also part of it. Maybe part of it is some of y'all can feel that I live the shit that I say, and you have a problem with a person with deep conviction. But again, these all just make points to me of like your lack of confidence, your lack of conviction, your lack of language and articulation, your lack of perspective, your lack of self-awareness, your lack of emotional intelligence, your lack of effective communication. All of those things are your lacks, babe. They are not my problem. And I'm not going to bow down, cower down, or shrink myself for you to feel more comfortable in the presence of me possessing all of that.
Mm-hmm. Come on here, Flip.
I appreciate you so much, for coming on here, because she really did not want to do this, y'all.
And y'all bet not bully me.
I got a couple more minutes before she gotta go. So if y'all have any questions or anything that you want to further dive into, drop them into the comment section. I haven't addressed any comments thus far, but I have seen you guys. And I thank you, one, for tuning in. I know this seems very ambiguous and kind of inflammatory with the thumbnail. But alas, and then once Mariama is out of here, I will also bring some of you guys on to speak. Because I don't want y'all to be bombarding her with your foolishness, if there's any foolishness.
Oh, I can handle it.
Okay. Well, the Discord is open if you guys want to share any thoughts or sound off or say anything, and I'll figure out how to like patch you guys into this one. Just go to the live, the call-in waiting room if you want to sound off while Mariama is still on here, but I'm also going to just read a couple of comments. DeMarcus, so I know that you're Team Jackie, babe, and for the points of like just being very specific and very pointed, you are having a very surface level conversation. To say that Hillary also dresses sexily, or she leans into her femininity, my issue is not that Jackie dresses sexy. My issue is that she used that to try to be a weapon and better position herself. And typically, as we've seen, she is a foil to Lisa. When Hillary is navigating the world in all of her pumps, stilettos in the club, no other woman is suffering because she's pretty. She's also not leaning into her pretty to make another woman suffer. Jackie cannot say the same. To argue anything different, to me, is disingenuous, and you're not actually listening to my points. You're arguing your own points.
Oh.
Let me see. Drop any comments or anything that you guys want me to address, because there's a lot of comments. I'm trying to go back through them, but it would be better if y'all could just repost, honestly.
Where is this at?
On YouTube, I can directly send you the, hold on, I can send you the chat. You give all characters the same energy, no matter how light or dark skinned they are. Thank you, Eric. I thought I did, but you know, sometimes we got to come in and reset the room. Barbara says, I think you give fair assessment of the character's character. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Shanoa says, colorism is a systemic issue. You have hurt feelings, and dark skinned people go to jail for longer.
My God.
Get hired less, make less money. That's
My
been
God.
researched and proven. Ooh.
Period.
Shanoa said, I didn't even know that Jackie had shooters like this. She did. She does. And even that in and of itself speaks to the privilege that this character holds. Because to Mariama's point of like, this is a fictional show and y'all have no problem like trying to dismantle an actual person, i.e. me, over a fictional person, i.e. her, but alas. The same thing happened with Olivia Baker, so it is what it is. Sade says, do people even sit back and think about why we even think about the things the way that we do? White appeasing beauty standards are an issue, but the Black family unit got to get it together. This is taught. And that is my point. That is part of some of the points that I make. Thank you for reiterating that. Because to be a monoracial Black woman is to perform a certain type of femininity to be beautiful. Yep, speak on it. EdXXD says, for people saying you hating light-skinned characters, obviously didn't watch your take on Homecoming. Shout out to Thea Mace. Baby, like the way I didn't want to get on here and just be like, y'all say I hate light-skinned people, but like some of my favorite characters on various shows be the lightest people in the goddamn room.
Period. Like
the way I go hard for Thea Mace, who was also the mean girl. So not only that, they gave her the light skin trope of like, yes, I'm pretty and I'm mean. But the tea about Thea Mays was she didn't lean on her pretty privilege. She knew that she was cute, but her talent was her tennis. And she was getting you hoes together on the tennis court. And you say, after you know what, I'm going to respect it because the bitch is confident and you hoes are whack. So it is what it is. I have no notes about Thea Mays and her light skin because she's not wielding that light skin as a weapon against anybody. She's getting on the damn tennis court with one hand, Simone Hicks, and whooping your ass, injured. It.
That's why we gotta earn it. Like, what are we doing?
Literally. Dominic says I'm scared to join the Discord. You should never be scared. You're a moderator. We see each other, and I appreciate you, Dominic, but I appreciate plenty of other subscribers. I want to be clear, like in addressing the hate and the stuff that's come from the seemingly hate, I don't want to overlook true supporters and people who I do have regular conversations with. Like Dominic, you have hit me up and like wanted to have a better understanding of misogyny and if this could be, if something that you're doing or thinking could be perceived as misogynist and like how to approach X, Y, and Z based off of some of the criticism I provided in various shows. And for me, that's what my channel is about. Like, yes, we're talking about entertainment, but media is so powerful in how we can actually learn from it, how we can live better lives if we learn from it. So I don't want anybody who is a true supporter who we've had actual conversations to feel slighted or to feel like I don't see you, because I do. But it was very important for me to address this particular thing because online specifically, people can try to hijack your brand, can try to hijack your name and attach certain things to it that are just simply not true. And I don't want that to be the case for me. Coral says, IDK if y'all are watching sports, but it's evidently present in the WNBA. Aja Wilson is on a historical run, but the media won't put her face everywhere because she's Black. It's upsetting. When points are made.
That's how you need to call these sisters and y'all sisters, y'all need some help. Like, get it together. I don't have nothing else besides get it together. We live in a world with so much information, access to so much information. To have these narratives, it really is just a reflection of the people making the comments and not of you.
Yeah. I received that. I definitely received that. And knowing myself, I am a person who tries our best not to internalize everything, but reflects on everything and tries to consider everything, because I'm always trying to learn and gain better understanding, and I'm always trying to evolve. And I think that that's also something that my audience might not give me credit for, because not, this is no shade, and I hope this doesn't come across arrogant, but most people in life are not doing that. Most people in life are not having a conversation and then thinking like, oh, how was I perceived? How did that come out? How did that land? Did I actually get my point across? Did I allow the person I was talking to feel seen and heard? Like, most people are not doing that, but I'm a type of person who's going to do that. And unfortunately, I do that with negative comments as well, which I think I'm getting better now with not internalizing and just trying to get to the root of like what actually needs to be addressed and leaving the rest. Um, but at its core, y'all got to realize that Erica's not one of those. She's Erica. And that's intentional, that's purposeful. You cannot just sum me up to whatever you want to be or you want to project onto me, because I've already done so much work to not ever be anywhere close to what your negative assessment is.
Mm-hmm.
And even while you're lodging the negative assessment, I'm reading and like, how much of that is true? Okay, so I can work on this, but then this I reject.
And you practice that in real life, because these people don't know you in real life. I'm not going to offend your subbies, so I'm not going to say much more than that. But I know this bitch in real life is what I can say for over 13 years now. So, yeah. I be wanting to fight. I can't be a sub because I think I would just be pissed off all the time. Y'all don't say enough to defend her in my. I'm going to say it again. Yeah. Y'all get
I
on here and write these
appreciate
long
you, friend.
comments and don't lead with so and so above me have lost her mind for talking to you like that. But here's my opinion. Y'all don't say nothing and then get upset when the bitch call you some raggedy hoes. Why are you confused? When there's a block party happening, why are you confused? Because who are you talking to?
That part.
Who are you talking to? You don't know me. Like, you don't know her.
Yeah. Now people actually scared to join the Discord. This is hilarious.
They probably
But
joined at the wrong time when I was going off. And you should be scared. And you know what's so funny? Because why are you ain't scared before until somebody get bucked with you. Why is that? Let's explore that.
mm-hmm.
Somebody matches that Twitter finger energy. You scared. You don't want to join. It's too controversial. It's too much. Why? Why? So it's okay. It's okay when you do it. When I do it, it's problem. Fuck you. Like what? No, absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't have friends in real life. That's what it gets.
You
That's
have
what it
so
gets.
many friends in real life. Oh wait, Dominic is joining. Hold on. Over.
Hi, Dominic.
Hey,
Everybody.
Dominic.
Hi.
Erica, your friend is like a real ride or die. I have to get like you, not gonna lie, because it's crazy. She was like, "You're not doing better," and I'm asking myself when I'm washing up these dishes, I really not doing better for Erica. So thank you for support. And also, I will try to do better. But honestly, you're right. I was actually listening to the live stream as I was traveling on the public transportation, and in Trinidad, that is very very common based on your skin and how what color of your skin you have. It's very very like that's not the conversation, but it is there. So thank
Mm-hmm.
you very much for bringing that up, and thanks for sharing all your points throughout the live stream. And I'm very very sorry that people are attacking you, a real person, and defending someone who's not even real, or an actor who is trying to portray a character who's not even real. So that's very very sad. So I just want to share my little 2 cents on that. And again, no, I was very very scared when she said I had to come by the houses and big big and so shoot up the houses. I was like, but
No
again,
worries.
thank you again, Miss. I think it's Miss Miriam.
Yes.
Yes, we'll go with that.
Nice to meet you, Miss Miriam. My name is Dominic, and thank you
Oh
so
no no
much for
no!
being
It's Mariama. I thought that.
Mary.
But
Okay, sorry.
yes,
Sorry.
yes. See, hold
She
on
said
though,
she
because
said
I love Trinidad Carnival. Did you go this year? Are we going next year,
I was
friend?
sup- I was supposed to go this year, but with
The
with
costumes is expensive. Why are they so expensive?
I'm not too sure, Miss. Really, when they released the prices this year, I was like, have mercy. But back to the
Yeah.
decision, yeah, I was real scared to join the Discord. You said you had on your fighting braids, and I was already gonna eat me alive in the VC as soon as I joined the VC. So gotta be careful. But no, honestly, you really taught me some things, and I could strive to, even down to the past. I was speaking about it this Sunday. They say that they will have people who waiting for that one person to stand up and do what is
Mhm.
right. And to,
Yeah.
not sit comfortably. That even when you said that, people are still comfortable and be um, ugly in their bodies. I can't remember the exact expression you said. I was like, wow, okay, Miss Miriam is very, very teaching tonight. So thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. And nice meeting your acquaintances. But I hope you be able to join the VC and spread more of
No,
your.
no, no, no.
She don't
I
like
shan't
this.
be doing that.
This part is about principle. Other than that, she's like, Erica, no. I'll be trying, y'all. I've
Never.
been trying to get her to come
I'll
on here
comment. I'll
more.
comment.
But thank you, Dominic.
No
Thank you.
problem, guys. My family is calling me, so I have to go. But I'm still in the Discord. I'm gonna be muted, right?
Alrighty.
Have a good day.
Carnival is just a wild party that happens each year to celebrate culture on various islands. It's really at this point tradition is tons of parades and juve and food and music, and it's different per island, but it's great. Um, Dominic, I'm gonna move you out so that we can
Trinidad is the best one. Hopefully, no one shoots me for that.
not the Trinidad's the best one. I'm gonna move you out so I can bring Kofi in. Um, hey Kofi,
Hey, what's up?
nothing much. How you feeling?
I'm I'm doing good. I just wanted to say I'm sorry that you had to deal with all that. That's quite unfortunate. It's a sad state of affairs, and they have to go to trivial, unbiased, unsupported attacks. I know you. I know what you're about. Whenever you talk or have a critique on a character, you come in with receipts and legitimacy. Now,
Mhm.
sometimes I may disagree, but to say that you have a bias against a certain amount of people, like, that's ridiculous. Like, at the end of the day, we all black. We come in different sizes, shades, whatever. We deal with white supremacy the same, so it don't matter. So I just wanted to let you know that we got your back, and I don't
Good.
normally say this, but people coming up you, they gonna have to deal with a real ass nigga like me. Like, I'm not gonna play about that. So like, y'all
Good.
better get off my girl, otherwise you're gonna see a different side of Kofi that's not pleasant. I'm just saying.
I appreciate that,
A lot of
Kofi.
gangs happening on the Discord.
I
So
Not
appreciate
just being
that.
able to put your gangsters, Erica. I'm gonna come on
yeah,
here more. I'm gonna do rally calls.
Right, riling
yeah,
everybody up.
yeah. But see, I'm very like even keeled and calm. So when I was
Good.
reading all that, I was like, damn, I gotta come in and make sure I make my position clear. So yeah, but that's it. That's all I got. But your commentary on this was on point, so I just felt like I needed to come and tell you that. So
Thank you. I appreciate
Good.
it. I
Thank you
appreciate
for
it so
defending my friend.
much.
yeah, so all right. Well,
Yes.
I gotta dip, so I'm gonna see you later.
All right, see you in the next live.
All right, peace.
Noah. Wait. Oh wait. Did I put Miriam out? Okay, wait, you're back, friend. Sorry. You gotta turn your camera back on. I accidentally put you out.
Oh, I know. I was on voice. I'm like, what happened? To voice? I don't know what
Shanoa,
that meant.
can you hear us?
Okay, hi. I had to
Hey.
mute my YouTube child. I
Oh,
was trying to I was like, wait, hold on. Because I didn't want to be echoing like old girl the other time. Um, I didn't really have nothing to say except for I agree with everything. I didn't catch the last Bel-Air live, which I don't know. Is that where most of this has gone
I
down in like the
believe
Bel-Air
so.
videos?
I think the thread is on that live's in that live's comments.
Okay, because I have to go back and even rewatch it. I checked your channel at like 8:30 or something, and it was y'all had already had it. I was like, oh shoot, I'm so late. I was so pissed.
No worries.
So I agree with everything, man. Jackie, I don't know why Jackie got shooters. She not that great of a character. I just want to say that, number one. And then number two is like, if y'all don't like what Erica has to say, just go find somebody you do like. Or who's
My God.
just placate all your stupid ass opinions. Just go find that person. The point of arguing with Erica in a way that's like you're attacking her character. Me and Erica argue about characters, plot lines, story holes all the time. I'm not gonna attack her character about a fictionalized person. That's just stupid. And I don't know. I don't have no respect for it. It gets on my nerves. I feel like people who are lighter skinned sometimes take everything to heart. I'ma say it. They take everything to heart. And like, it's not an attack on you just because you're talking about a systemic issue. Just like white people, they get offended when we talk about racism. Oh my God, why are you bringing up race? Because race informs everything in America. Duh. Colorism informs so many things in the Black community. Duh. That's why we're bringing it up. So, like, I don't know. It just gets on my nerves. So that's why I be deleting people in real life in the comments. Yeah, say something else. Blocked. Yeah.
Blocked. I'm definitely going to be doing that moving forward, but I didn't want to come across as a person who like is just ignoring people or deleting people because y'all were right and I don't want to be wrong. Like I try my best to create a fair space and community for people to talk, but also I'm realizing the longer this goes and the bigger I get is that I'm having to decide now in how I want to create a safe space. Do I want to create a safe space for myself and people who look like me, or am I trying to create a safe space for the broad majority, which will ultimately invite in people who are still very much so indoctrinated into a system that is harmful to me and people who look like me. So that's kind of where I'm at now, and I haven't started blocking these comments because of that, and like wanting to like figure out the best way to navigate that. Yeah.
I understand that. I also probably get it because it feels like anytime someone who is darker skinned says anything about colorism, the first thing people say is like, oh my gosh, you're jealous, or oh my gosh, you're just saying that because you wish you were light skinned. Like nobody wishes they were light skinned. I don't know. It just aggravates me. It's different for me because I'm in Florida. So like, I don't know if this is the same anywhere in Florida, but colorism and like light skin versus dark skin is a very narrow like definition here. What's considered light skin is very strict. Like I don't know. They don't give nobody no passes on light skin, dark skin, whatever. So personally, I didn't have anything color said to me because I'm like brown skin, in between. So I've never had the color shit said to me. But my mom is dark skinned. My aunts are dark skinned. My whole family is dark skinned. So my standard of beauty has always been dark skinned women because they've always been beautiful to me. And I look exactly like my mama, just a couple shades lighter. So if I don't think she's pretty, I don't think I'm pretty because when I tell you I have that lady's whole face. So like I've never like had this whole dark skin versus light skin thing in my own life, but I've seen it with some of my like people I've called friends in the past. Like my friend, she had a kid and we were outside in the summer, Florida gets hot as hell. She told me, so, well, she need to come back in because I don't want her to get any darker. And I was like, no, what do you mean by that? What do you mean you don't want her to get darker? Why not? What are you talking about? Like, and they get so uncomfortable and they try to minimize it. And I'm like, no, don't say that. What you just said was colorist. I don't like that. And like, stop trying to like perpetuate these like thought processes in your daughters. Like, you're just gonna give them complexes and make them think that their light skin is the only thing they have to offer people. I don't feel like people understand that like when you tell people all they have to offer is like their skin color, I don't know, that person is very vapid and very shallow. And I feel like they don't they don't come into the fullness of their personality because they're so stuck on skin tone. And I don't know, it's a sad thing to see. I see it all the time. Florida is crazy as hell.
What part of Florida are you in?
I'm in Central Florida, like an hour north of Orlando.
I lived in Miami for 9 years. So
Oh my God. I know you know. I've been
I
to
know that
Miami
when you said it, I
so
was
much
like,
time.
Lord, please don't get me started on Florida. But
Nightlife in Miami is insane. But yeah.
But to piggyback off of what you said, Shanoa, it's like okay, so part of it is like this is just the way things have been. So a lot of it is perpetuating that just because this is what they know, being disenfranchised is a very real thing. That's what I chalk it up to when I see it happen with my family. Like I gave y'all a story of something that happened today from my grandmother, who is not far off from me. And like Miriam, when I told her, she's like, your grandmother's always speaking about how black you are.
so disrespectful. That lady, I ain't gonna say nothing because it's the grandmother.
But part of that is like it's a part of them and how they grew up, and you know, my grandmother's over 80 years old, so that's part of it. I am calling bullshit to a lot of the lighter people that you were speaking about who immediately gets offensive and like feel away, because are you defensive or are you pissed when dark-skinned black people are always hired as the thugs, the gang members, the violent characters, the evil vindictive bitches at work? Like, if you're not also up in arms about the characterization of stereotypes in reference to casting and positioning darker skin in very villainous spaces or roles, then you can't call bullshit, or you can't try to say anything about, oh, well, Erica don't need to speak on light skin and how this is actually coming across in this particular moment. Because are you worried about the conversation around colorism, or are you not? Those are the same people who I've yet to see or hear anything from when it's a dark-skinned character being the most evil villain of that has ever existed, which is typically the things that we get cast for.
Yep, and you're real. They're not actually worried about colorism because they don't even know what colorism is. They still think it goes both ways. Baby, colorism does not affect light-skinned people, and I don't think they understand that. They just be like, people talk about us too. Okay, your feelings got hurt. That has nothing to do with what colorism is. It doesn't affect lighter skinned people. It's the disenfranchisement of darker skinned people. It goes one way. And they don't get that. And that's why they don't care when dark skinned women are casted crazy, dark skinned men are casted as thugs. Like, they don't give a fuck because they still think that colorism affects light skinned people too. And they don't, because they're dumb.
If it's not gonna be anybody, it's gonna be Shanoa and Micah. That's just gonna say the thing. They're gonna come in here and
the point was made very clear. But it's so true. 100%.
Well, I thank you. Hopefully people were able to take things from this conversation. Yes, Erica is technically clapping back at certain things lodged against her, but I ultimately wanted to have this conversation in full. So one, kind of like level set, clear the playing field. I'm really going to point to this video as it pertains to any other attacks about how I feel about light skinned white people, whatever. At its core, I really am just starting to really understand that people struggle with confidence, people struggle with articulation, and the same thing is happening with my perspective on white people. The same thing is happening with my perspective on men. And I personally have gone on a journey to decenter men and to decenter whiteness. And that's why I respond the way that I do in various things. And for people who might not have done those things, you're going to consistently bump up against like conflict with me. You're going to consistently take issue with me because I'm operating in a world that you don't actually live in. Like, I've opted out of the world that you're actually existing in. And I want to say it's okay because there's nothing that we can actually do about it. Maybe it's not okay. It just is what it is. But I want people to be very clear about that before you, and maybe you're not going to be, because to, you know, Mariama's point when we were talking earlier, some people don't want to evolve. Some people don't want to grow. Some people don't want to understand. Some people don't want to actually hear. They want to be ignorant. They want to be however they are in this moment. Cool. But if you actually do, then you need to as you move forward, take all of this into consideration as it pertains to your interaction in community with Erica, because she's, again, just not one of them, and definitely not who too many of y'all think I am.
And I agree with what you're saying. Like, so many people don't care. And I also feel like I just saw this video on TikTok the other day where this content creator was talking about a story with her mom. And her mom, she's a darker skinned girl, and her mom is lighter skinned. And she was, nightmare combo. But she was saying that she had been told all this stuff from like some boy at school about her skin color, and he didn't take her to prom or something. So she was in her room crying, and her mom saw her crying, and she was like, "Now what's going on with you?" Like, because she had never cried in front of anybody before. And she was like, "Nothing, nothing." But then her mom was like pressing her to talk about it. So she finally opened up to her mom, was like, "This, that, the third. this person has said this, that, the third about me and my skin color. He's saying I'm too dark. He's saying I'm ugly because I'm dark and this, that, the third. And she basically was explaining how her mom was like taking in everything that she was saying. And it felt like this was the first time her mom had actually heard her when it came to colorist statements, even though it's not the first time her mom has heard somebody say something colorist in front of her. So then after that day, she was like, "Oh, my mom made my siblings, stop saying like, oh, she's dark as night or whatever they were saying." She gave a couple specifics. She was like, "Yeah, no, actually, that's not funny, and we're not gonna laugh about that anymore," to her siblings. But I'm like, this is when this girl was in high school. It took you that, and her siblings are lighter. It took you like 16, 17 years to finally recognize that the stuff that you were saying in your house and the stuff that you let her brothers and sisters laugh at about her and say about her and call her midnight and call her tar baby and all that stuff was not okay. You finally got it 16 years later. And that's how I feel like so many people are in real life. They hear it, but they don't care. They don't actually pick up on it. They don't actually care to understand that it was something that was offensive. Just like microaggressions with Black and white people. You hear it and then you don't say anything. Like the white people, they hear them dog whistles, but they're too feckless. They don't have no freaking backbone to stand up for the Black person in the room who's being told that they're so articulate. You know that. Don't tell me that shit. Like y'all don't wanna acknowledge when something is being said that's offensive because it makes you uncomfortable. Because it's easier for you to be a bystander than to be someone who actually stands for anything at all. Because it's not easy. Like I'm always being told I'm the one, oh, you ruining the vibe, oh, you scaring the hoes. Because I'm always I'm gonna call a thing a thing, and I'm gonna be like,
I'm too scared
what
of
do you mean
hoes.
by that? No, for real, because I mean, Black men, they be saying crazy stuff. And I'll be like, well, what did you mean by that? Misogynistic, colorist, all that kind of thing. And then people be looking at me like, well, okay. Well, what did you mean by that? I love to pretend I didn't actually understand what you said so you can explain it. And then tell me how we really feel. So it's just easier for people not to say anything. And I've learned over my years that I'm just not the person who's gonna shut up. I'm just not, and people hate it. And it's so
Real
annoying
bad.
that people cannot clock when something is offensive. I'm sure there's been things I've missed in my life, but when people have said, "Hey, did you not catch such and such?" And I was like, "No, I didn't." And they explained to me, I try to listen for that same thing and things similar and do better the next time. Y'all don't ever learn to grow. What did I say in the comments? People don't want to self-reflect anymore. Come on.
They don't.
Recognize your privilege and stand up for the people who don't have the same privileges as you and who are actively being stomped on and like pressed down in this stupid ass system that we have going on. So I'm done.
Thank
I
you.
I do be blocking folks in the comments. I ain't never. I be block happy, but I don't know. I'm mad that I missed this live because I would have went off on them. But okay.
No worries. Thank you so
Hey,
much,
Mariama,
Shanoa.
nice. Yeah, you're so welcome. I love you. Yeah, I love your content. Even though we don't agree on everything, I still love tuning in for like your perspective because it's a very interesting one. And Mariama, thank you. I love seeing Erica got writers for real. Period.
It was nice to meet you, friend.
She is one of them ones.
Yes,
All right.
she is
I am always like,
100%. Sade says in the chat, as a light-skinned woman, I don't take these convos personally. I don't have light-skin guilt. Laugh out loud if that's a thing. We should be able to call a spade without feeling attacked. I think that that's interesting, and maybe that could be the thing where you get ready to sum up and head on out, friend. Light-skin guilt. Is that what some people might be struggling with? Because I know that the white guilt is very real, even though they don't want to actually attest to it.
It's so funny. I've actually talked about this with a friend. I do think it exists because I'll speak for myself. I think there are times where I do feel guilty, but not because I've done something wrong. The guilt is not the same of like, I feel like I did something. The guilt is feeling disempowered to do more. I think is more of what the guilt is for me. So like you are a great example of this. I hate knowing that people, when you get on your lives, we had talked about this, the first
Yeah.
couple people, or the first couple of minutes, people are really saying disparaging things to you. And like the guilt is like not being able to be a buffer. The guilt is like not being able to be like blocking you from seeing that, because I don't think you deserve that. I know that you don't deserve that. It's not even something I think, right? And so though those kinds of things like impact me, but I also think some of that is as a friend. You know, we could be blue. I would have the same thing if people were saying these, right? Like I love
Yeah.
you and I think
Yeah.
you are still a human being, and like being consistently told that has to impact you. You've gotten strong, you are strong. You figured out how to navigate those comments, and I love that about you. I love that you figured out how to protect yourself. But I think it is crazy for me to pretend like those things don't sting even just a little. Or like it's like I
And
just
what she's
don't want
speaking
to
about right now,
do that
y'all, is not the comments I just showed y'all. I go live
Oh,
every day and have gone live for the last 124 days, every day on my personal channel, and every day like clockwork at the beginning of my lives, because YouTube is pushing vertical video to the world. I get 10 to 50, sometimes 70 people initially from various places around the world, and some of the first things that are said in the lives are like calling me a monkey, calling me a dog, calling me a black bee, calling me everything but a child of God as it pertains to my skin tone. So that's what she's speaking about right now. Sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to.
yeah. No, I'm glad you gave it perspective, or context rather. So like those are the things that make me feel guilty, like just not being able to be in charge of defending you or protecting you or supporting you in that way. I think some of the guilt too is like not always knowing if I am receiving privileges and just blinded to it because I don't know what life is like outside of that, right? So like I think that the same thing for like people who are attractive, just in general across the board, regardless of
Yeah.
color. And like sometimes it's like you don't realize that you may realize, and you may also not realize that you are getting afforded this opportunity because of your looks, right? And like I don't want to participate again in things that are harmful for others. I obviously can't do anything about how I look or how people perceive me. Um, all I can do is like opt to be better. I can opt to be like, hey, that feels odd. Like it feels odd for you to say that I can come in a section, but my homegirl can. I'm saying this like I go to the club often. It's just like the example that's coming to my forefront. But it's like any opportunity, right? It's like we can say work, right? If I am working with someone and we're doing the same job or producing the same amount, and like I just get ahead and they don't really have, like it makes me think like I don't want to be given things because of my skin tone. I don't want to be given privileges for things that I feel like I'm really working for. You're not seeing that just because of how I look.
Yeah.
I don't really want that on my head top. And there's some guilt around that because I also don't know how to like stop that from happening.
Yeah.
And like sometimes I don't see it, right? Like sometimes I'm like, I don't actually believe it's not that I don't believe it to be true. I think that there is a hard moment where I'm like, but I also earned this. Like I did the late hours. I stayed up. I did the studying. You know what I mean? Like I did all these building blocks to get this. And I don't want it to be that I got it because I'm light skinned. Like that doesn't feel good to hear. Like that's like an uncomfortable moment for me where I'm like, that stings. Like that's not really fair. Cause I really
Yeah.
did the thing. I really fought for this position or this thing that I got. And now you're just telling me that I got it because I was the lightest person in the room. Like that's the shit that like damn, like
Yep.
I don't know how to navigate that language because I understand why someone may feel that way. And it just is like, damn, like the guilt is like, I hear you and you could be right. Actually don't even know how to determine if that's not true. All I can tell you is my merit. Like all I can be like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
maybe true, but also friend, please look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. All right. Like look at me. Give me something. There's like moments of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And that could be, but it goes back down to being like uncomfortable being uncomfortable. I'm just gonna tell you that the comment made me uncomfortable. There are definitely times where I'm like, dang, Erica, why skip people? And like I just tell you, like, damn, that like, like, is that how I behave? Like, I don't actually know. Do you feel like that mean? You're like, no, girl, I ain't even talking about you. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I can get myself out of there. But I'm like, okay, you ain't man, you just having a moment. Yeah, you're talking about the things that I just need to be a listening ear. And that's usually what
Yeah.
happens. Right? Like, oh, okay, I'm conflating you speaking about a lived experience and trying to make it mine. There is guilt in that too. It's like, damn, my existence is not necessarily painful for other people, but my existence can be.
Yeah.
I might just exist, like, right? And other people using my existence to harm my friends or other people, it's like, damn, that's like
Yeah.
it's difficult to navigate on the other end of that. Where like I personally just don't want to be perceived that way. Like I don't want to be the light skinned girl with attitude, and I don't want to get away with being sassy because I'm like, like I don't want to get those things even, and that makes me feel guilty sometimes. So it's more of like that for me.
Got it.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna be like, but I used to get teased too. Like I just won't use language like that, and I feel like that's the difference between like people being toxic and people also just being like, but also like,
yeah,
I actually earned this.
Because we all stupid when we're young, and it's not even like just for this particular example, because you bringing it up is just like, oh, I'm thinking about that now. It's like, okay, so where are all the little light skinned girls that were called like whatever light bulb or whatever, but have been like once they hit 16 been affirmed for ages. Meanwhile, every single day for the last 124 days, and I've put myself out there, I've been called the opposite.
And the likelihood of me getting online, and not for like attractiveness, but just like my skin, the likelihood of me getting online and somebody calling me a porch monkey is probably slim to none because of my tone. People don't think of that. I may get other racial undertones because this lighting is not doing me goddamn justice. I'm brown. Okay, so typically don't get racially ambiguous, but like I don't, like, so I may get like racial undertones, but it won't be as derogatory as you're getting for sure. Right. That's just like, I cannot argue that fact. And like people pretending like that doesn't exist, I think is the wild part to me.
Yeah.
Like she's very clearly getting this commentary for her skin tone. That's it. She didn't say anything to offend anybody. She didn't even say anything yet. The girl is blending grapes in silence. Like, but there's 20 comments calling her a bush monkey. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, and it's only happening to you because you're a tone, and it's like, damn, bro, and I can't. And like you're telling me, and all the thing I can do is I'm sat empathizing, and I'm also just enraged. Like, why do we live in a world that is a thing? I'm enraged often.
I mean, like I would argue we both are, but I would argue that people like you in my life are the reason why I can actually look at a thing and say, yeah, I don't actually have a problem with light skinned people. I'm not struggling with resentment, because while I can assess and see the negative side, I have a very real multiples on the other side of this. Like I sent the comments to you, I sent the comments to Naya, Melissa, and Antonio, who all at this, I didn't even realize at the time, but we're all of lighter hue. Like Antonio's a little bit closer to me, but are of a lighter hue. Shout out to Naya, my Blasian sister. And they were like, what? Like, what? So I think in having real life safe spaces where I can actually discuss my lived experience, I can unpack my perspective and like even go back and forth, because we don't agree about everything, but it's through being able to discuss it in a healthy, in a safe way, that I have been able to cultivate the confidence that I need to, I guess, approach stuff like this and be able to be like, yeah, no, I'm going to reject that assessment of me because you're full of shit. I don't actually have a problem with light-skinned people. I have a problem with the people that I just listed, and those are manipulative, low-hanging fruit, trifling, stereotypical, whack-ass bitches that could do better. And I'm gonna tack this on to me calling, my criticism is always a call for whatever character to do better, whether that is a light-skinned woman, a Latina, a black woman, a man, because they love to say that you hate men because you calling them up.
Right.
Love to say that. And I just take it as such. Like, take it as such. Yeah. Erica says that she says, ultimately, not because I get my rocks off on ranting and raving and being negative about people, but because I have very real perspective based off of my very real lived experience, and I want us all to be better. And this is just the avenue in which I'm doing it. Thank you so much, Fran, for taking time out impromptu to do this with me. You don't know how much this means to me. I appreciate it because I know how uncomfortable it makes you. But
I know I was like sweating for it. I'm like, Lord, I'm gonna say something crazy. I know I am because my mouth is so Jesus.
No, but I appreciate you so much in helping me just share even a portion of what we discuss in real life here to provide better context to my audience. I appreciate it, and I love you very much.
I hope I rallied up your gangsters. It sounds like some people like, you're right. I should come out gun swinging. You should, because I don't be here to do it.
You should.
Ain't no way.
Thank you.
But you're welcome. I love you in real life.
Yes.
I don't know internet.
Always and forever.
All right, cool. I don't know how to hang up though, so you on. The boomer. Oh, okay. I see the big red button. I see the big red button.
She's not even a boomer. She's younger than me. It's so wild. With the way she's not here for this internet.
Turn this thing on. Hello, can you hear me? I was definitely having a moment at the start of this day.
Bye, friend. Love you.
All right, bye. Have a good one.
All right, y'all. Is there anything else? If anybody else wanted to pop into live before I get ready to head off of here, I was supposed to be doing my freaking Reasonable Doubt live, which I want to do because I'm behind. But I do need a second to like decompress after this live. This was a really good one. We unpacked some very real things. I hope that this provided much better context and perspective on me. For everyone, not even just people who are convinced and focus on misunderstanding and misrepresenting me, because ultimately they're going to get it or they're not. They either want to better understand my takes and my perspective or they don't, and that just is what it is. But I'm glad I was able to offer this peek into myself, into my perspective, by way of like bringing in and having a conversation with a very, very, very close friend. I really hope that this was enjoyable to you guys, maybe even educational. Jade says, I love her admitting that it can be uncomfortable. The problem is these people use their discomfort to be defensive and invalidate other people's experiences. That is so real. That's so real. Naya says this live was needed to put someone notice, period. Because after this, your ass is just getting blocked because I got bigger fish to fry, things to do, honey. We are on a mission. And my mission is ultimately, again, to push our evolution and our growth as people through media. I've said this before, but I don't know if it actually has landed how I wanted it to land, but we don't actually have to live every single negative experience, every single untoward experience. We can look around us and we can learn and grow from the media that we consume, from the books that we read, from the shows that we watch, from the podcasts that we listen to. In critiquing and commenting on that, this is also how you can shape your guiding principles in life and help yourself better align with the person that you say that you want to be or you hope to be. It's something that I do, and it's something that I hope comes out in my work. So most of the time when I'm reviewing these shows, like, yes, I enjoy these shows and I'm watching, but I'm also speaking from a life perspective and like, how can we all be better? How can the people in hey Allie, how can the people who are involved in this particular show, how could they have been better from a place of, if this is you or could be you in the future, like, okay, you get to see some of the options before you even present it with them so that you can make the best decision for you. I'm grateful that you got on the opportunity to share your genuine heart and intentions. Me too, Allie. Thank you. Dominic says, oh, she always says she loves Samantha down, but Olivia, exactly. Samantha Logan, next thing she in, I'm near front and center because she's talented AF, gorgeous AF. But Olivia Baker, child, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. It did, thanks, E. Janelle says, I definitely love this convo. Never thought once that you had a problem with light-skinned people. I appreciate that. Conversation was definitely needed, yes. Naya says, I hate to say it, but critical thinking and listening skills are a rarity these days. Please value the Ericas in the world. Some of y'all need them all. I appreciate that, Naya. Thank you so much, boo. Because we are kind of rare and it gets a bit daunting and exhausting to exist in a way that you're constantly reflecting and you're constantly trying to take in feedback, you're constantly trying to learn and grow, but you're also constantly trying to push up against things that you know are not right and are not okay and are not safe. People who live in that space, it is not an easy thing to do. So to Naya's point, appreciate those people because we are trying and this shit is exhausting, but it is what it is. I had to remind myself, like, the past couple of days of like, also, Erica, this is kind of what you signed up for. As more people come into your audience, as you cover more, this is what And this is kind of what you're asking for. It comes with it. So it's like, okay, deal with it. And it's not going to get any better the moment my shows start coming out and y'all are able to watch the stuff that I make and you see. The moment that y'all get to see the dark-skinned ass leads and the stories that I am telling that are informed by dark-skinned perspectives at the forefront, not as a side character, oh, people gonna be eating me up then. They're gonna be eating me up. And this, I guess, is gonna be preparation for that. They don't want the status quo challenge, period. All right, y'all, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I might do a Reasonable Doubt live in maybe an hour or so. Just look out for an announcement on the channel, because I can't even promise you right now. I'm gonna take a second, I'm gonna decompress, I'm gonna pray, thank the Lord for a very amazing live and for wonderful, beautiful friends who continue to lift me up and to show up for me and just help me be the woman that I want to be. I'm also going to thank the Lord for you all, for amazing subbies and people within the community who do get it and who do see me and also are open to listen and to grow an understanding of me. All right. I appreciate you all, and I cannot wait to see you in the next live.